Hey, what's up, universe? It's 11:57 a.m. on Friday, June 2nd, 2023. So I just got done watching my video, and there's some thoughts obviously coming up in my head. I think my last video, the 4-minute one, 5-minute one, pretty much got some of the stuff. But anyway, before I digress too much there, the thing that's coming up for me after watching that video is that sitting at the top of that triangle and being mindful of my state and being the gatekeeper, the one that is being intentional and conscious about what am I doing with the data that I'm receiving, that all goes towards a really big thing of mine about being a sovereign individual. And that's not just for me, you know what I mean? Like, I look for everyone. Like, look up the word sovereign. When you think, it's no different than like the nation state, you know. United States is a sovereign nation. You know, countries are, most of them are sovereign countries, right? My inner state, my consciousness, my being, like that's mine, you know what I mean? And like no one else has authority over that. And I have such, like, that's a real boundary for me. And the thing is like, that's not just for me. Like, I champion that for everyone. And I mean, there's people that can tell you about that, you know, like, that was a really big thing in my marriage to Reese, you know, is like, it was just about sovereignty. And yeah, I just like the phrase sovereign individual. And again, I'm a champion of that for everyone, is what I'm trying to get at. And so when information comes in and it takes me off my center, I'm allowing it to take me off my center. That is me abdicating that sovereign authority to that data. There is now something outside of me that has encroached upon my sovereignty that I've allowed to encroach. You know, that's kind of the rub. Like, there's a responsibility and accountability. You know, there's a lot of like things that go along with having that type of authority. You know, with great power comes great responsibility. And so if I'm going to claim sovereignty, which I do, I must also claim complete and full responsibility, complete and full accountability of all of the repercussions of all of the choices that I make and all of the meanings that I give to data, because those meanings that I'm responsible for, you know, like, even if I'm passive, like, I forget now the sayings, but there's sayings about like, look, just because like you're not doing something, like the fact that you're still present, like, it's like you had an opportunity. I had an opportunity. I'll use I statements. You know, if I'm present with something and I'm not doing something about it, and I had the opportunity to, then I'm allowing it to happen. And so it's not an excuse for me to like abdicate. Like, it's not a loophole for me to get out of my own responsibility towards that experience. You know, I'm having a hard time articulating it at the moment. But the idea of and maybe I just need to sit down instead of moving so much, huh? Sorry, let's do that. Let's get present. Let's get super present. Because I do like to move. I like to move when I'm thinking. Except for when I'm communicating like this, that's not conductive. So, with the idea of sovereignty, and I do champion that for everybody, at the same time, I totally understand that there's a lot of responsibility and accountability. There's a lot of stuff that goes along with that. And I 100% appreciate, it's just the path of least resistance. Not only are we electromagnetic beings, we're also giant bags of water. And both of these things, the path of least resistance, and so it makes total sense to me to and I mean, I do it to choose the passive side, although I have seen the fruits of being an active participant, and so I do work to do that as best I can. I just acknowledge that I have my blind spots, you know what I mean? And so the idea of sovereignty is just so powerful to me. It's about, you may hear me talk about like living my truth or living your truth. I tell my kids all the time. I've told them ever since they were young. I've told them a lot of stuff. I told them about there's no such thing as good guys and bad guys. I've told them that I'm not always right. Just because I'm your dad doesn't mean I'm right, because I believe in like authority and experience, yet I also believe in personal authority and personal experience. You know what I mean? Like, just because somebody else has maybe older than me, or that doesn't necessarily mean that they have like experiences. You understand? Like, I feel like we can all relate to that. But it's been my experience just that while there may be positions and authority that we give to people, like, and that's valid in certain contexts, it's up to me anyway to decide when that is appropriate. When it's actually aligned with me to give that person that kind of authority in my headspace, in my consciousness, in my being, to contribute that energy to me, and I'll take that on. You know what I mean? It's basically that that meaning is an energy. I'm contextualizing that data to give it an energy. And yeah, sorry, I'm having just a lot of different thoughts. The main point, I'm trying to decide if I want to process like this in real time, or if I want to kind of like end the video, because I feel a little vulnerable and strange taking up space real time as I'm like totally exploring thoughts. As I'm exploring thoughts, this is kind of what it looks like. It looks kind of a little chaotic. I say things, I don't always finish my sentences because I'm having things go on up here. My audio journals are totally like this. It's a little funny. Somewhat frustrating too, because all of the conversation's happening up here and only some of it's coming out. So there's obviously some ideas that are percolating in my mind. The main thing though is around sovereign individuality, being a sovereign individual. And I guess what inspired that thought was, there's a lot of, I don't know how it is appearing to people who watch these videos. I really have no idea. I don't know if they're like, you're crazy, if you're inspiring, or if it's both, or if it's like, oh, you can't do that, or if it's because people are watching because they're like, dude, I would never let myself do that. And that's kind of what I'm at with the whole sovereign individual thing, where it's like, you understand the word sovereign, like you can, I can, yes, I can. You know what I mean? And it's the only reason really, this is actually, thanks for being with me if you're still here. The thing that really came up to inspire that is like to illustrate and put myself out there in these ways isn't to like it's to really just illustrate the extreme of sovereign individuality. Like, yes, you can. Yes, you can. Like literally, and like the things that people have told me too, like the only person saying no is yourself, or the only person in the way is yourself. And so, or myself, right? When I'm talking to myself when I say that, so yourself, right? And so that's one of the ideas and principles that I've that I've put to the test. I'm like, all right, if that's true, let's see it, And so I take these ideas and these philosophies and I'm like, okay, well, if that's true, then we should be able to, we'll go this way with it, And with sovereign individuality and being the gatekeeper up there, it's been my experience that the inputs, the data that was shutting me down, and I still have things that can keep me small or whatever. Again, like I say, just because I talk about it in practice, it doesn't mean I don't have my stuff, man. I totally do. It's just through my experience of being that gatekeeper that I've been, the amount of permission that I've experienced and the I can do this. I can look at a $5,500 a month house when I've got $100 in my bank account, and it's not like I would ever suggest, please, please understand, I am not at all suggesting that. The point that I'm illustrating with that is that the things that you think that you can't do, yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. And that's where that sovereign individuality comes from, where it's like, yeah. And it's that energy, it's that centeredness, it's that confidence, it's that belief, really. It's that vibration that I am putting out on these videos and that I'm illustrating. I put myself in my own context to exercise that. Your context, if you choose to do this, will be your own thing, and you're going to have your own responsibility and accountability for that. So please do not mimic me in my ways. What I do will not work for everybody. It is my journey. The point that I'm illustrating, though, is it's that, yeah, I can. And so can you. Those things that are your truth, the things that are inside of you that resonate, that you may feel some serious yeah, but I can't. Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can. Here's a belief that I have around that. That this universe is participating with us. And if you've been with me the whole time, I've said that I've started to relate to my experience of the universe as my ultimate partner, right? And so my confidence, my masculine, my groundedness, that belief of, yes, I can, is that penetrating essence, is that penetrating force that the universe then unfolds around and is there's a real power in choosing. And then once it's been decided and I embody that and I have that, then it's been my experience that the universe reciprocates and unfurls around that. So in my mind, in my belief, whatever your truth is, and as soon as I fall into integrity around with my truth and align with my truth, there's a lot less anxiety in my life. There is a lot less friction, even though things can look chaotic. And this is why I'm I don't care about appearances. But there's all of this stuff about being a sovereign individual, anxiety, power, honoring one's truth, alignment. Yes, you can. It's a lot more peaceful in my experience. And I don't know, I feel like I have a real belief. The whole reason I'm doing these videos too is not only to stretch myself, but I really just believe that we can all experience that. We can all experience that. That's not just a me thing. If you guys want to know the truth, I've had to work through a lot of stories. of the worthiness and stuff. Like, some of my biggest stories are from when I was a kid. I was in the learning center in elementary school. They pulled me out of class in front of all the kids because the school that I went to was an open pod system, which was cool, which means that the classrooms weren't in walled classes. We were like, one grade shared a giant like room, and we had like some like bookshelves that were, you could see over them, right? They were like half height bookshelves. So you could see all of the classrooms, right? See your friends, you shoot spitballs. It was fun. I mean, it was a cool environment. I think they should do that anyway. Honestly, my education was well. It's just that the way that I learned was so different that they pulled some of us kids out, right, to go to the learning center and have special classes. Now that's when this type of environment is not necessarily great for that, because then like everybody knows like what's going on. So there's like, and things that I've been told around like my own ways of thinking, and so I give you that context because it's like to get connected to this idea of this sovereign individuality and this confidence or this centeredness or this groundedness or this acceptance of self has been, and still in some areas is, a journey. It's all part of gaining that authority over that top point. And in my mind, it's simply just because we weren't modeled it or taught it. It's a lot easier to be passive, so just go with the flow. And it wasn't until I started to have some serious positive feedback about the work that I was doing up here that I was like, damn, I was like, I'm only going to give a shit about up here, man, as much as I can. Like, there's just so much. Because from there, if I can be grounded and centered, it's like what I said in my previous videos too. That's a resource I would love to see more in the world. And I got to give it to myself first so that I can embody that vibration. So I can embody that. There's a reason that you guys are here. There's a reason that it resonates. I have to embody that. And that comes from me managing my state and being the gatekeeper. So, this has been another long video. I'm going to wrap it up. I really appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for sharing this time and this space. Thank you for seriously giving me the space to unfurl and kind of journey with me on what my mental process can look like. This gives you a taste of what my audio journals would be like for sure, except for it could be there could be hours of this. All right. Thank you so much. I love you guys. I'll talk to you later. Bye.